So let's talk about family secrets for a minute. Um, in my family, it was a family secret of sexual abuse. And that family secret ended up being something that traveled from one generation down to the next generation and even down to the next generation. And the reason is because people keep quiet. When you keep quiet about something that has happened to you, then it has the potential to escape from you and go to someone else and then go to someone else. It's just like a cancer. If you don't cut that piece out or cut it off, then it's going to travel. This quote says family patterns like family secrets repeat themselves. That is very true. I want to encourage anybody, especially young people, if you are living with a family secret, I can't really tell younger people what to do because they're young, and if they're underage, I can't just tell them to leave. But from my experience, when I was involved in my family's family secret, I told, and when I told, I became looked at as the person who quote unquote messed up the family. But in reality, was the family already messed up? Because the person who molested me raped my mother and my aunties. And before he got to my mother and my aunties, I know that he was interested in my grandmother. He also had a wife and 5 children, two of those children from his previous marriage. Before he got married into my family, he molested two of his daughters from his first marriage. So it's almost like when you don't tell and you don't do anything about this situation or these people, they continue to travel. And that is a very, very dangerous thing because then the family is polluted. And then the damage that is done to the children, the damage that is done to the relationships, the child or the person being labeled as the black sheep and being ostracized, that is something that is very hard to live with because even though in your heart you know that you did the right thing, you're not being treated as a person who did the right thing. You're being treated as a person who was actually equivalent or just as or probably worse than the person who did this to you. That was my experience. I was told that I messed up the family. I was banned from people's houses. I was made to feel like I was the most terrible person in the world, all because I wanted someone to stop putting their fingers in me, and people wanted me to be quiet about it. When there's dysfunction in a family, it is not okay. I don't want anybody to think that it's okay for dysfunction of a family or in a family means that you have to repeat that dysfunction. That may be a pattern that my aunts and uncles and my older cousins were involved in, but as far as me, I'm my own person. And I'm always going to advocate for controlling your own world, for making sure that you have your own set of beliefs, your own standards, even when you're young, because you have your own experience and the way that you perceive every and anything. And so, just because your family is Christian, that does not mean that you have to be Christian. Just because your family may have alcoholism running through it does not mean that you have to choose alcoholism. See, a lot of these things that they claim are generational curses, I call them generational allowances. I know that my family has a problem with drinking. Or do you think you're going to see me sitting up drinking a lot or at all? No. I know that my family has a history of substance abuse. Do you see me sitting up using substances? Well, of course, you don't see me. But that's just not something I'm going to involve myself in. Why? Because I know that there's a tendency for me to want to engage in the same thing. And I believe that certain things have what they call spirits, or there's a certain energy that is attached to certain things. If you were around those things when you were younger, whatever entity that is that controls your family, I believe that it can kind of come to you. You know what I mean? I don't know the right words to say, but I know that in order for me to have stayed away from certain things, I did it because I didn't want that same energy on or around me or even working through me. And one of those same things is a family secret. Keeping your mouth closed, being complacent, being complicit, that is not something that I advocate for. I advocate for people to be themselves and to make sure that if you do see something wrong, or if you do know about something that is wrong and you know for sure and it's a crime, you need to speak up about it. Because I have absolutely no respect for any man, especially grown, or any woman who knows about some type of abuse and does nothing about it. And that is how these family patterns continue to end up as generational curses, because nobody takes a stand. And of course, nobody wants to be labeled as the person who, quote unquote, messed up the family. Nobody wants to be labeled as the outsider or the black sheep. But you know what? I wear my title proudly, because I don't even consider myself a sheep, though, to be honest, because it's not the best. It's not the animal that I would consider myself wanting to be called. I would prefer to be called a lion, because I'm gonna roar. I'm gonna make sure that I stand up for what I believe in. I'm gonna lead my own pack, and I really don't want to lead anybody to. Let's just be honest. I just want to be myself. And so, if you have a family pattern or a family secret, and you know about it, detach yourself from it. Speak up about that thing, because I don't think anybody who is carrying a family secret or who knows about it and they're being quiet about it, I don't believe that I don't believe that thing should be looked at as something that should be coddled, or it should be kept over here, or oh no, don't touch that. Expose that shit, because when you expose it, there is freedom. And that's one thing that I think people really don't understand. Who cares if people don't like you? Who cares if people are mad about you? Stand up and do something about it. I wish that more people in my family would have stood up and done something about it. But these are the same people who benefited from the person who was molesting everybody. And so when it comes to family secrets and these patterns of dysfunction, the only way to break them is to talk about them. Talk.